What is up, everyone, and welcome to Coach's Cavern down here at the Dormy Workshop Studio with Joe the Pro.
What's going on? Happy to be back.
Yeah, it's great to have him in his very casual attire.
I am. Had to wear my very comfy Bunker House golf sweater.
Yeah, swag. Looks really good on you, by the
Thanks.
way.
Hey, appreciate it.
Fits well.
I'll take whatever makes me look good. I need all the help I can get.
All right. Well, today we're going to be hopping in the studio in the Bay to discuss a little bit of that balance and structure. And as you know, more than anyone else, because I really want to preach this to everyone, we're not here to give you Band-Aid fixes. We're not here just to discuss, like, this is what you should do. We're just having a general discussion on where we think probably you might want to stand when you're hitting it. Yeah, literally. Like,
there is a proper position. There's a proper position and an improper position. And people think, hey, maybe this won't make that big of a difference. It does.
Yeah, we're not going to tell you have to do this, but you should.
Yeah,
really.
It'll help you out.
Yeah, it really will. Well, huge thanks to Dormy Workshop Studio for having us here. Of course, always, we're going to give them shout-outs whenever we can. You want to dress up your bag, hop onto their website, and look at their cool collection of everything leather.
It's so good.
Anything that could be made out of leather. I wonder where they could go next. They've made so much out of leather already.
I know, it's impressive, and they just keep coming up with good after good after good.
Yeah, and you can hop on, you can customize your own. We all have our own, you can customize there. But before we do anything else, let's hop in the studio, let's jump in, and let's chat about how to hit over that golf, how to stand over that golf.
Yeah. Not even hitting it, stand.
Yeah, I actually don't care if you hit a golf ball while you're doing this. Stay in your house, grab a broom while you're barbecuing, you're whipping up those dogs, grab a spatula. It's a barbecue. I smell barbecue. I smell barbecue. Well, let's jump in, balance and posture. Starting with basically, one, how the hell to stand.
Yes, we need to be in the proper position to give ourselves the best success to hitting the center of the club face.
The center of the club face goes like actually away from people's heads.
Yeah.
Like people think they can just like swing this club around, and if they just like hit it anywhere even remotely close to it, it's gonna do it. The only place is right in the center. If you can learn how to hit off the center, you're gonna be so much better off.
Yeah, it trumps everything else in the swing. First thing you got to do with anyone, if you're new to the game, if you're just taking lessons, you have to be able to hit the middle of the face consistently.
Yeah, over and over again, and a huge portion of that is actually coming from your balance with your feet and how you stand. Well, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
All right, so what we want to take a first look at, Joe, is we are going to take a look at how our posture looks and what I feel like with my feet. So right here, I want to feel about shoulder width apart. Now, we shouldn't have to explain to too many people about what shoulder width apart is, right?
Yeah.
Because shoulder width apart, very, very neutral feeling. If you want to be a little wider, that's okay. If you want to be a little more narrow, that's okay. We just want to stay away from getting too close and too far, because what happens when we get too far, we have a little bit of a sumo stance. So when we're in here, we don't do anything with our hips or our body, and when we get too close, we're too easy to be knocked over, so our balance is all off.
Yep.
So we want to feel like we have shoulder width apart. Now, what do we do with our knees? And it's a question I get a lot in lessons. I don't know about you, but I see a lot. I see a ton of something that actually looks kind of like this here, kind of like out here too.
Yep.
And sometimes even actually in as
Yeah,
well.
so the biggest thing we want to see, so if you get down in that position again, we'll go from the back here. So we want to be able to see, we want to have a good athletic position with our knees. We don't want to be too straight or too exactly sitting down. How many times do we see that of people thinking they sit down, right? And
you're basically like sitting on either like a bar stool or like a little bit of like a high toilet.
Yeah, a little bit of high toilet. But when we get in those positions, it affects our balance and affects the amount of pressure we're going to be able to get into the ball and the power that we generate from that. Stand up straight. Have your knees locked. Relax. Get in a good, nice position. Bend over from the hips without moving your knees right now.
And the best way to do this too is like not even giving me a club yet. Like don't even give me a club. Like let me stand here straight up, shoulder width apart. Right now.
So we get, and this is a really good way to just get anyone whenever they're starting, just to get into a good posture. So feet shoulder width apart, we already talked about that. What we want to do now is stand up straight, and what we want to do is kind of feel where our hip bones are. Once you kind of feel where our hip bones are, what we want to do is we want to lean over at a 45-degree angle without bending our knees yet.
Like Michael Jackson?
No, not like Michael Jackson. We want you to bend from the hip going forward, almost like you're like a bird kind of peck some water, you know?
Yeah, that's it. So it's our chest and our chin moving together. I'm not trying to just like
you don't want to just get into the kind of hunchback position. Right. So make sure we get up, we get into a good posture here. What we want to watch out for is we don't want to have what's called an S posture. So what an S posture is we can see here how the back is really extended, and you feel a lot of pressure in your lower back right now, right?
I actually feel a lot in like the back of my legs.
It's not good. So we want to loosen up that back. We want to be nice and straight, maybe with a slight arch if anything. We just really want to avoid that S spine.
Yeah.
So good. So really good position.
And now I'm in a nice comfortable spot too.
Yep.
Right here.
And so you're bending your knees right now a little bit by habit. So what we want to do now is just release that knee flex. We're not going to kind of over exaggerate it. We're not going to crouch down. We just want to get up in that straight position and then just kind of release that knee flex. And imagine we can almost bounce, almost back and forth, like if we were playing tennis or something like that, right?
Just looking to unlock my knees a bit.
Yep,
really.
exactly.
Just looking to unlock my knees.
Good.
And now that I feel athletic though. But with this as well, number one thing when you then go from that position that you just said there of releasing your knees is we have to talk about being too much on your toes or too much on your heels.
Which is a great point.
Yeah, where you could actually fall over. Because if I see that club for a second there, Joe, when I'm on, and we get into this nice posture that Joe just built us, we go over it again, we have a shoulder width stance, we have our chest and our chin down a bit, hips are relaxed, and we see a slight knee bend here. Now I just let my arms hang down. And we see my arms hang down nice and straight through here into a spot that isn't too extended. I'm very comfortable like this. But what we see here, Joe, is that like when I sit on my heels, a lot of the time what we see is actually, because we're starting here, we're gonna move away from this position. So if I'm too much on my heels on the way back, I'm gonna move into the ball on the way down. Or if I'm too much on my toes, I'm gonna move away from it on the downswing. Yep. So we have to make sure we're center balanced.
Our arms have weight. It's part of our body mass. So whenever these arms are moving around us, we need to be in the correct position to counteract that. We don't want to be on our heels with our arms behind us because we're always going to lose our balance at that point.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to balance is so important. This structure, this built, and the balance goes together hand in hand.
Yeah, it allows me, because then if I'm staying balanced, I can focus on that center contact. But before we even actually would discuss how to do it, you already nailed it, is you want to feel a little bit of bounce in your feet. Because if there's a little bounce in your feet before you're hitting a bit, just a touch, we have to be athletic. We have to be, that's motion, that's active motion. We don't want to be static to a point where we're sitting or on our toes. Be constantly moving, like Joe said, just a little bit of flow right there. We don't want to have that, that feeling of feeling really, really straight, really, like I feel like my muscles are turned on right now.
And that's the thing, like what we see with so many people whenever they're starting is because, yes, taking golf lessons or learning the golf swing is daunting. There's a lot going on. And when we start talking about positions, it's really easy to start getting in position after position without actually feeling natural.
Yeah.
Like if we get too structured, it is actually a bit to our detriment. We want to be able to, we want to be loose. The golf swing is an explosive movement.
Yep.
We can't do that when we're static. We have to have a little bit of athleticism. We need to have a little bit of bounce.
A little bit of bounce in that. So, I mean, that's excellent. We got a little bit of bounce, a little bit of structure. That's just how to take away the first step of, like in video one and understanding when you log on there and see that, like when I talk about the grip, that's a recommendation, but that's a professional recommendation. This is something we fix on the daily. We see all the time. We have our lessons. But this is too, where we get questions weekly. How do I stand? What am I actually trying to, how far is the distance away? What the answer is comfort. Yeah. Be comfortable. Ask your pro, ask your instructor, or get on here or work with us and ask us what's comfortable. And it's going to be different for everyone with the makes of our body, whether we're taller, shorter, whether they have longer clubs, anything like that. Have to get comfortable.
We have to get comfortable. And like I said, we're always open. You can send us DMs, emails, whatever it is, with any questions, because we'll go through these questions all the time and answer you guys' questions. Because again, all the questions we get are usually pretty similar. Yeah. Like everyone's kind of struggling in the same sense, so we get the same question a lot. So it's a safe spot here. You're never asking. There's no stupid questions in golf. One of the biggest things you have to understand.
Except for
golf's hard.
Except for when Ryan asks them, sometimes they're a little stupid, just a bit.
Sometimes.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you on the next episode of Coach's Cavern. Well, that's it. Joe, Thanks for coming in, man.
Firm handshakes.
Yeah, firm handshakes, light grips. Firm handshakes, light grips.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a quote. Put
It
that
is.
on a t-shirt. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, guys, take it easy, and we'll see you on the next episode.